Good evening, everybody. Today, the topic is the duties of lawyer towards the court and the society, being a member of the legal profession. The role and status of lawyers at the beginning of sovereign and democratic India is accounted as extremely vital in deciding that the nation's administration was to be governed by the rule of law. They were considered intellectuals amongst the elites of the country and social activists amongst the downtrodden. These include the names of galaxy of lawyers like Mahatma Gandhi, Motilal Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Desai, C. Rajagopalachari, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, and Dr. B. R. Ambedkar, to name a few. The role of lawyers in the framing of the Constitution needs no special mention. In a profession with such a vivid history, it is regretful, to say the least, to witness instances of the nature of the present kind. Lawyers are the officers of the court in the administration of justice. Mainly, what are the duties of lawyers towards the court? An advocate shall, during the presentation of his case and while otherwise acting before a court, conduct himself with dignity and self-respect. He shall not be servile, and whenever there is a proper ground or serious complaint against a judicial officer, it shall be his right and duty to submit his grievance to the proper authorities. An advocate shall maintain towards the court a respectful attitude, bearing in mind that the dignity of the judicial officer is essential for the survival of a free community. An advocate shall not influence the decision of a court by any illegal or improper means. Private communications with a judge relating to a pending case are forbidden. An advocate shall use his best efforts to restrain and prevent his client from restoring to sharp or unfair practices or from doing anything in relation to the court, opposing counsel, or parties which our advocate himself ought not to do. An advocate shall refuse to represent the client who persists in such improper conduct. He shall not consider himself a mere mouthpiece of the client, and shall exercise his own judgment in the use of restrained language in correspondence, avoiding scurrilous attacks in pleadings, and using intemperate language during arguments in court. An advocate shall appear in court at all times only in the prescribed dress, and his appearance shall always be presentable. Any advocate shall not appearance means here any advocate shall not enter, appearance, act, plead, or practice in any way before a court, tribunal, or authority mentioned in section 30 of the Act. If the soul or any member thereof is related to the advocate as father, grandfather, son, grandson, uncle, brother, nephew, first cousin, husband, wife, mother, daughter, sister, aunt, niece, father-in-law, mother-in-law, son-in-law, brother-in-law, daughter-in-law, or sister-in-law. An advocate shall not wear bands or gown in public places other than in courts, except on such ceremonial occasions and at such places as the Bar Council of India or the court may be prescribed. An advocate shall not appear in or before any court or tribunal or any other authority for or against an organization or an institution, society or corporation if he is a member of the executive committee of such organization or institution or society or corporation. Executive committee, by whatever name it may be called, shall include any committee or body of persons which for the time being is vested with the general management of the affairs of the organization or institution, society or corporation. An advocate should not act or plead in any matter in which he himself peculiarly interested. An advocate shall not stand as a surety or certify the soundness of surety to his client required for the purpose of any legal proceedings. In our country, admittedly, a social duty is cast upon legal person to show the people beacon, means sit beacon, light by their conduct and actions. The poor, uneducated and exploited mass of people need a helping hand from the legal profession, admittedly acknowledged as a most respectful profession. No effort should be made or allowed to be made by which a litigant could be deprived of his rights statutory as well as constitutional by an advocate only on account of the exalted position conferred upon him under the judicial system prevalent in the country. Advocacy touches and asserts the primary value of freedom of expression. It is a practical manifestation of the principle of freedom of speech. Freedom of expression in arguments encourages the development of judicial dignity, forensic skills of advocacy, and enables protection of fraternity, equality, and justice. It plays its part in helping to secure the protection or other fundamental human rights, freedom of expression. Therefore, is one of the basic conditions for the progress of advocacy and for the development of every man, including legal fraternity, practicing the profession of law. Freedom of expression, therefore, is vital to the maintenance of free society. It is essential to the rule of law and liberty of the citizens. The advocate or the party appearing in person, therefore, is given liberty of expression, but they equally owe countervailing duty to maintain dignity, decorum, and order in the court proceedings or judicial processes. Any adverse opinion about the judiciary should only be expressed in a detached manner and respectful language. The liberty of free expression is not to be confounded or confused with license to make unfounded allegations against any institution, much less the judiciary. A lawyer cannot be mere mouthpiece of his client and cannot associate himself with his client in maligning the reputation of judicial officer merely because his client failed to secure the desired order from the said officer. A. Deliberate attempt to scandalize the court, which would shake the confidence of the litigating public in the system and would cause a very serious damage to the name of the judiciary. Advocate's role and ethical standards. An advocate's duty is as important as that of a judge. Advocates have a large responsibility towards the society. A client's relationship with his or her advocate is underlined by utmost trust. An advocate is expected to act with utmost sincerity and respect. In all professional functions, an advocate should be diligent and his conduct should be also be diligent and should conform to the requirements of the law, by which an advocate plays a vital role in the preservation of society and justice system. An advocate is under an obligation to uphold the rule of law and ensure that the public justice system is enabled to function at all its full potential. Any violation of the principles of professional ethics by an advocate is unfortunate and unacceptable. Ignoring even a minor violation or misconduct militates against the fundamental foundation of the public justice system. An advocate should be dignified in his dealings to the court, to his fellow lawyers, and to the litigants. He should have integrity in abundance and should never do anything that endangers his credibility. An advocate has a duty to enlighten and encourage the juniors in the profession. An ideal advocate should believe that the legal profession has an element of service also and associates with the legal service activities. Most importantly, he should faithfully abide by the standards of professional conduct and etiquette prescribed by the Bar Council of India in Chapter 2, Part 6 of the Bar Council of India rules. As a rule, an advocate, being a member of the legal profession, has a social duty to show the people a beacon of light by his conduct and actions, rather than being adamant on an unwarranted and uncalled for issue. Thank you, one and all.